still going. The undulating line of crimson liquid you see here is made of fountains of lava, the 5th volcanic eruption in southwestern Iceland since December. The last one in this region just wrapped up after 8 weeks. Now, the nearby town of Grindavik is once again facing a threat from molten rock. It's reportedly reached the barriers built to protect the community. Very few people are still here. The town's population of 3,000 to 4,000 have been under on and off evacuation orders since last year, when seismic activity dramatically increased ahead of the eruption. Scientists had said the river of magma that flows beneath southwestern Iceland had moved closer to the surface, and once again, it's gotten there. One new concern is volcanic gas. If the eruption continues and the wind blows in the right direction, air quality could deteriorate. I'm Azuz for The World from A to Z. We had some breaking news coming in last night as we put this show together. For the first time, a former leader of the United States has been convicted of a crime. A jury in New York found former President Donald Trump guilty of 34 counts of falsifying business records. What was this about? The prosecution said in 2016, when he was running for election the first time, Donald Trump didn't want news to come out that he'd allegedly had an affair in 2006, that he was concerned it would hurt his campaign. Prosecutors said Trump paid $130,000 to keep his accuser quiet and broke campaign finance laws to do that. The former president has repeatedly denied having an affair and paying off his accuser, and he said the trial was politically motivated. But the jury found him guilty of felony-level crimes. And now the big question is, what happens next? It's up to the judge to sentence former President Trump. That's set for July 11th, and he could be fined, sentenced to community service or probation, or sentenced to years in prison. There's a wide range of possibilities when it comes to the penalty, and he's expected to appeal the verdict. Trump's currently the frontrunner for the Republican nomination in this year's election, and experts say his conviction does not prevent the former leader from being reelected. But what kind of impact this could have on the election itself isn't known at this point. Okay, next stop, South Africa. The country has had the same political party in power since apartheid ended and Nelson Mandela became the nation's first black president. But following some government corruption scandals and an unemployment rate of 33%, voters may be about to shake things up.
30 years in power, and the party that has defined South African politics faces its strongest challenge yet.
We want to show the support to the ANC because ANC has been supporting us.
This could be the most closely contested election since the dawn of South Africa's democracy, and many believe that the ruling ANC could lose its majority, but their supporters say don't count them out yet.
The ANC can fill stadiums, yes, but it also has a formidable ground game. Spending vast sums on this campaign, getting right into neighborhoods with senior leaders.
Voting for ANC until now.
Why do you still want to vote for the ANC?
I want to vote because my ANC, he worked for me.
Millions of South Africans like Thuli Gwala depend on modest government social grants to survive. But South Africans want more. Breathtaking unemployment, sustained electricity blackouts, and stark inequalities have left many feeling betrayed by the promises of the ANC.
The ANC government has presided over huge allegations of corruption, and there is a very significant problem with unemployment. Why should people this time vote for this party, given that record?
We are a party that have made strides in terms of renewal and fighting the stigma, so to say, of being associated with corruption.
This is arguably the most important vote in South Africa since the dawn of democracy some 30 years ago. And this man, Cyril Ramaphosa, faces enormous pressure to get his ANC in power to reach that threshold of over 50%, because the sense is amongst voters I'm speaking to, at least here, is that it's time for a change.
When you talk freedom, when you say you are free, what you own, you don't have land, you don't have property, you don't have anything. What you own nothing.
The unemployment rate is crazy, it's high as ever. It is a big time struggle. Most of my friends are unemployed.
The frustration is unemployment is very huge and big.
especially from the youth, you know. They say education is the key to success, but we don't see that.
The question is, when the voting is done and when the votes are counted, will the ruling ANC be able to hang on to that majority?
On this date in world history, a world-famous clock tower started a-tickin' on May 31st. It was back in 1859 that construction wrapped up on Big Ben over the British Houses of Parliament. On this date in 1921, deadly and destructive racial violence broke out between whites and African Americans in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Rioters burned hundreds of homes and buildings, destroying a black neighborhood. And while historians don't know how many lives were lost, estimates range from dozens to hundreds. Most of those killed were black, and thousands were left homeless. And on May 31st, 2013, the widest tornado ever recorded formed near El Reno, Oklahoma. 8 people were killed by the twister that measured 2.6 miles from edge to edge.
Word and knowledge. The oldest known sample of cheese was found in what country? Italy, France, Egypt, China. Though the food itself may be thousands of years older, Guinness World Record says the oldest trace of actual cheese dates back to the 1200s BC, and it was found in Egypt.
QR codes and computer chips are being tested to stop cheese counterfeiting in Italy. The reasons are how it's made and what it's worth.
This is real Parmesan, and this is genuine Parmigiano Reggiano cheese. And then there are the fakers.
Unfortunately, there are products called Parmigiano Reggiano, even on world markets where that's not what's inside.
Like other cheeses, Reggiano is made with simple ingredients: sea salt, rennet, which is a natural enzyme from a calf's intestine, and milk. But genuine Reggiano is produced in Italy's renowned Emilia-Romagna region, and it must earn its label by meeting certain standards. That includes requirements like the milk must be delivered within 2 hours of coming from the cow. The curd is lifted and drained, and then put into round forms, which are turned regularly to keep their shape. Then the wheels are lowered into a brine solution for 3 weeks to form a hard rind. The wheels are stored on towering shelves. Parmigiano Reggiano must be aged more than a year and inspected by multiple officials. After all that, Italy's cheesemakers don't want you to get tricked. Because apparently, money isn't the only thing that gets counterfeited. So does cheese. Each of the wheels you see here can sell for more than $1,200. You're looking at millions of dollars. Each wheel is printed with the Reggiano brand, of course, but now the organization that regulates the brand is testing a new security feature. A disc made of casein, that's milk protein, is applied to the rind. It has a QR code and another feature. A computer chip smaller than a grain of sea salt is also embedded into the crust of each wheel. The QR code and the chip can be scanned to reveal data, including the production date and location.
The chips guarantee the originality of all Parmigiano Reggiano cheese.
What state's known as the Wolverine State? The answer is also the Great Lakes State of Michigan. That's where Mr. Vukic's class is watching from Warren Woods Tower High School in Warren. Jumping over to Delaware, we're well aware that Mr. Clausen's class is with us. Hope things are great at Selbyville Middle School in Selbyville. And from Racine, Wisconsin, the Eagles are soaring with Mr. Walzer's class. Case High School is online and amazing. For our final What in the World segment, 911 calls that dispatchers in Texas don't hear every day.
There's a kangaroo that come up the road and crossed right here.
Does it look like it might belong there?
Nope, it's a kangaroo in Texas. It's legal though. There's a family in the area that owns 16 of them, and 2 got out when an owner accidentally left the gate unlatched. They both found their way back home, eventually. Guess it just didn't want to be boxed in. But if you were kangarooting for a great escape, thinking it'd walla be hilarious to hear breaking news on a macro podcast, you've been denied that, Joey. So it's understandable if you're hopping mad and want a marsupial that the next time it gets off the pouch, it hinds a way to leg it out before kicking back in a hoppy homecoming. Fridays are awesome. I'm Carl Azuz, and I've hit the wallaroo on puns. But hey, let's keep this going. We'll be back Monday to bring you the world from A to Z.